that hit in between the arms of the defenders.
That's what happens when you get a good first ball.
Exactly, exactly.
Get a
The
good
libero
attack.
made the play, and the setter took care of it. That's why it's really, really key for your setter to have constant communication with your libero.
Mutiara sets it up. What a play by Hangestri. Fooled everybody, including the defense of Vietnam, to put Indonesia back at set point 26-25.
If I was sitting at the front row, I would have even tried for a pancake. she really sold that hit.
Yeah. Well disguised by Hangestri. But again, they're going to have to defend. And for Vietnam, must get a good first ball here. Yes, they do. A push and a point. What a play for number 7, Huang, keeping the Vietnamese hopes alive.
Right on that pocket. Going down the line, power tip, semi off speed. You got to find adjectives to really describe the way that she hit it, but got the point.
2 set points saved by Vietnam already. Over received there. It goes outside. Indonesia back at set point. This is set point number 3, 27-26. A little adjustment for Coach Octavian of Indonesia, as number 15 will check in for the first time today, Hani Budiatri.
And their service specialist.
That's
Tisha,
right.
Number 8.
Number 8,
Trying to close out this first set.
Tisha Amalia, who was a starter in yesterday's loss against Thailand. Big question, can Vietnam save set point number 3? Another good first ball. Nguyen sets it up. Free ball. Oh, but it goes outside. Indonesia just playing too tight right now. In Vietnam, they always have an answer. They always have a save for a set point.
And let's see if they can get the upper hand right now. It still amazes me how off-speed hits are getting the job done. Because usually if you're playing against a very good defense, the moment that they control your off-speed hit, as we see a service error right here
That
by
hurts.
Vietnam.
They worked so hard to save a set point, and they put Vietnam at set point number 4 here, 28-27. How ironic is that? They worked so hard defensively, but they threw away a point. Good serve. Good receive again. Nguyen sets it up. A tip. Still alive. There's an attack from Indonesia. Easily picked up by Vietnam. But a solid defensive play at the net finishes off Vietnam as Dang is rejected up top. And at set point number 4, Indonesia finishes off Vietnam, but not without a little overtime, Martin, as we finish off the first set, 29-27.
A little overtime is an understatement, the way that they defended. And at the end of the day, it's their defense on the net that secured that victory.
Magbabalik po tayo mula dito sa Santa Rosa Sports Complex
We now
para sa day
begin
number
set
2 ng Asean Grand Prix at katatapos lang po ng set number 1. At Martin, ano bang nabasa mo sa statistics natin in the first set?
A lot of red cards, but the most glaring thing is unforced errors for Vietnam. They gave 10 points to Indonesia, and Indonesia just gifting them 3. That was the difference of that first set. Miscommunication on the first balls to start off that first set, and they ended it with another miscommunication on the setup for that hit.
29-27, the finish of the first set in favor of Indonesia against Vietnam. Both teams looking for their first win in this very... they're coming off losses. Vietnam losing to the Philippines and Indonesia losing to Thailand yesterday. And Ratri Wulandri kicks things off for Indonesia with the first point.
Getting a little bit more confident. This Indonesian spikers, they are given an opportunity now, since they're controlling the backside of their defense, to really fabricate offense. And right there, again on the launch pad, getting a good set and finding that gap on the defense.
Wulandri serving into the net, and she is quite upset. I'm looking at her face. You're not seeing it on the TV screens, but she was quite disappointed with that serve. She obviously wanted to get momentum for Indonesia to start set number 2, but now we're tied at 1-1. Serving for Vietnam, Lin Tran. What an attack there, and a net violation forced on Vietnam. That was number 12 of Indonesia, Purnama Nuwari, with the point. Nuwari yesterday with 7 points, second leading scorer for Indonesia in that loss versus Thailand. Good receive. And Nguyen sets up number 18, Lu, for the point.
Good reception, good set, quick reaction by the middle hitter, getting that point off a quick, being able to of Indonesia scrambling on the backside, because every time that they're set up, they get good receptions, good digs right there.
A tip by number 3, Hangestri. There's Dang, blocked. Middle attack for number 16. That is the team captain, Ti Nga Bui.
You know, the length of Vietnam making problems and trying to work things out right here on the front line. They had a quick attack. They had a running hit just a while back. So we'll see if they can continue this hits, because that middle of the defense of Indonesia is quite open.
Good defense, good dig for Vietnam. Dang will attack. She's blocked. Good floor defense for Vietnam. Both teams mounting rallies here. Set up by Nguyen. Dang again. Dang is blocked. This time blocked for good.
Totally denied by two ladies on the right side window. They went to her thrice on that sequence, on that rally. And taking care of business is the front line of this Indonesian defense. Two ladies coming up, collaborating for that stop.
Let's remember that's how the first set ended, with a kill block from Indonesia. Nguyen sets it up. Hangestri, cross court. Down the line attack for Huang will score for Vietnam, and they are up by 2.
And a surprising dig from the libero, because usually if it's under your chest, you don't want to go open palm.
Yeah.
If it goes above your head and you're a libero, you want to go that open palm semi-set up when you try to dig that volleyball. But it went below her chest. Went for that hit. Surprising.
Hangestri, cross court, and a difficult angle. Despite that, Huang was not ready to cover for Vietnam, and
Caught napping.
Yep, Coach Nguyen talking to Huang about it. Now the game is tied at 4. That's right on the line. What a super serve from Arcela Nuari.
It
And-
looks soft when it
Yeah.
gets off the hands, but it has enough power and it ends up on the line. A few times that they have been hitting that volleyball, it goes to that zone right there, right down the line.
Here's a setup. A little push is by Wulandri. Dang is blocked again. Good defense by Indonesia at the net. Chance here. And the Indonesians score via City.
A little short on the set, but enough power to compensate for it. Two ladies were trying to block it, but the hit was so hard, it went downhill from that low set.
Nguyen, what a nice setup. That goes outside. The point credited to Nga Bui of Vietnam.
And she has been doing that one-hand set for the, that's the fifth time and the second time that they got a point coming off that single right-hand set.
Dang is serving for Vietnam. Chance to tie. 5-6, set number 2. The back set. A good save by Tran. Free ball for Indonesia. Nguyen. Back row attack. What a dig for Vietnam. A counter dump there for the Indonesians as they score again.
And how about the presence of mind of Indonesia to hang on to the net? Because Vietnam has been having trouble of getting that first ball on their reception. Another one right there, the second ball overlapping to the net and just tipping it, getting a power tip and a point for Indonesia.
7 serving 5, set number 2. One-handed set for Nguyen and a point for Tran.
And a check on two ladies, number 3 and number 12 for Indonesia, hitting that volleyball. An opportunity here for Vietnam to tie this game.
And serving his team captain, Thi Nga Bui. She's 6'1", tallest player in the Vietnamese lineup. And a point by Ratri Wulandri.
I mean, Landry is a ball of energy. Every time the ball gets to her, she loads up and hits it as hard as she can. And it has direction. A few times that she had errors, those were low sets. But if you give her enough space to get into that launch pad, you can't stress it enough. That 1-2 step really gives her power.
Two-point lead for Indonesia, 8-6. Set number 2. As Wulandri and Hangestri taking care of business for the Indonesians. Poor first ball for Dang. And it's a 3-point lead for Indonesia, 9-6, set number 2.
Well, actually, the points of Indonesia is coming off errors that are really unforced, that are very basic for Vietnam. And the service wasn't that strong, but the reception, again, right there, miscommunication. It's down the line and another service ace. Back-to-back ones for Indonesia.
Dang and Tran.
And there were 3 ladies that the ball went through.
Let the ball go, and now a 4-point lead, the biggest lead of Indonesia in the match.
Might be the only game that you would be applauded for being selfish and calling it mine.
Meantime, Lu will break that run of Indonesia. And the setter, to Nguyen, serving. Good save. And a free ball for Vietnam. A chance to get a 2-point run here. Nguyen sets it up. Liu. And Liu will score again. Back-to-back points for Liu, and it's a 2-point game.
It looked like an off-speed hit, but the length. Again, when they hit it, it's at the apex of that volleyball. Even if you don't hit it as hard, if you get enough on that English on the volleyball, it has a chance, really, to get to that middle of the defense where everybody is scrambling.
At 4-point lead of Indonesia cut in half. Good block against Wulandri. Hangestri, yes! Stops the 2-point run of Vietnam.
They're going for the cross-court hit right in front of the libero, not being able to control that volleyball.
When you got a problem and you're Indonesia, you go to Hangestri and Wulandri, the two key players for the Indonesians right now.
Almost automatic. Every time that they go to both of these ladies, the percentages go up for them.
Service just long. 2 service errors
Exactly.
for Wulandri
on this set.
in this set. Nine serving 11. This is Lin Tran. At 10 points. One of 2 key players in double digits for Vietnam in that loss versus the Philippines yesterday. Day number 1 of the second leg of the Asean Grand Prix. The setup. And a nice tip for number 10, Agustin Wulandri.
Running tip going to the lady that has provided offense. We have been talking about her the whole afternoon, fabricating points and good ball placement. I can't stress it enough.
Yeah.
Ball placement is the key. If you don't have strong hitters, you need to place that ball where they can hit them and where they can fabricate points.
Nguyen. That is an overreach for Nguyen.
Gigil. Nanggigil right there.
Indonesia back to their biggest lead of the match at 4 points, 13-9. Set number 2. They won set number 1, 27 or 29-27. What a quick there for Liu.
And that has been open for them the whole afternoon. Whenever they have their tall middle blockers and open spikers on the middle of that floor,
That's right.
when they get the first ball and get that quick attack, they have been spotless.
Liu getting ready to serve for Vietnam. Down by 3 against Indonesia. Good receive for Wulandri. And there's an attack by number 12. That is Arcela Nuwari.
And a big chunk of points here. Big chunk of that 14 coming off the attacks going down the line. Even the services, it goes down the line. They're attacking it because the backside defense, we can't stress it enough. Since the first set, that has been the problem of Vietnam.
Dang, yes!
And on the flip side, that has been one of the bright spots for Vietnam. Number 2 has been attacking every single time the ball is brought to her side, which is that left side of the floor.
That's T. Kim Tan Dang, number 2. Yesterday, only 3 points, but today, she's really been putting the team on her shoulders.
And a lot of balls has been placed on her side as well.
1-2 play for Mutiari, and she scores for Indonesia.
And a good read right there. Most of the defense went forward. 2 ladies went at the back, open on the middle, ready for that 1-2 play.
Back to a 4-point lead for Indonesia. 15 serving 11, set number 2. They have a 1-0 advantage. But a point for Nguyen.
Again, the quick is open right at the middle of that campfire.
Now we're seeing Vietnam, Martin, are a lot more aggressive.
Yes, and having better flow on their offense.
That's right. They're connecting. Higher percentage now than earlier in set number 2. That's over-received and outside. Another point for Hangestri.
But every time that Vietnam tries to get that momentum, Indonesia has an answer.
And they take us to our second technical timeout. 16-12, set number 2.
Pwede po tayo kumuha ng pictures and videos, pero pakipatay po ang flash ng ating mga smartphone cameras. Maraming salamat po. Serving for Indonesia, Wildan Manila.
16-12. Indonesia up by 4. This is their biggest lead of the match, but they throw away a point. Service error on Sugandi City.
Every time they're trying to get the momentum back, this has been an occurrence for both teams. They tend to shoot their feet. You get a stop, you get a good hit, and then you follow it up with an error. That's why both teams are quite derailed. They can't string enough runs. We haven't seen long rallies on this game because of unforced errors from both teams. And it's always a learning experience, especially we have been stressing it, that both teams are very, very young, and most of them are part of that national training pool that they have.
Wulandri with another point. Save is good, but it does not get across the net on the third touch for Vietnam, as this now is the biggest lead of Indonesia at 5, 18-13. Set number 2, and Coach Nguyen would like to talk things over for Vietnam. All right, adjustment time if you're Vietnam. And will they have one?
They have to. They need to.
That's
because
right.
they are behind right now, a set to nothing. They are behind on the second set score, 18-13. And Indonesia is serving. They need to fabricate points on a hurry.
Good save by Indonesia. Nguyen will set it up, and there's a point for Lu.
And this has been open for them the whole afternoon. That quick hit on the middle. They have gotten 3 points here on the second set from those type of attacks. The integral part here is controlling that first ball. The reception, we can't stress it enough. They have been having trouble the whole afternoon.
Nguyen serving. Hangestri. Good one-handed save by Vietnam's libero Nguyen, but it goes outside. Nice
Almost,
effort.
but not quite.
Yep.
A++ on the effort, but no, can't do.
Lead is still 5. Nguyen, underhand set. Solid two-lady block, but what a save for Lu. Lu now at the net. They decide to set it up. Lu on the quick. 2 blocks, and the last one a kill block for Indonesia. They're up by 6.
And good coverage right there. Trying to go for another quick one on the middle, but the defense was ready. Covering that middle pylon and just getting that stop. And the kill blocks are really piling on for Indonesia. Their defense on the net, despite giving up 3 quick hits on the middle, 3 quick points. Ang ganda, nandoon.
Off speed from number 7, that is Huang for Vietnam, and they cut the lead to 5.
Another positive is the off-speed hit. The off-speed hits, rather, has been there this afternoon. A lot of their points, if not from unforced turnovers, came from off-speed hits.
That's right. Service outside. That's obviously a very sorry mistake if you're Vietnam. You're trying to come back. You just got a point, but you throw one away. The lead is back to 6 for Indonesia.
It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Yep.
That's what's happening to them. They have golden opportunities to control the momentum of this game, but they tend to throw away the possession just like that, and they gave up another ace, the 3rd one on the set by the Indonesians.
And now a timeout. Second timeout for Coach Nguyen of Vietnam. They are down by 7, the biggest lead of Indonesia.
The score 22-7-15.
22-15. Indonesia serving. Nguyen will set it up. Indonesia, back row attack. Wulandri inside.
Good intent, good power. Wulandri has been really solid this afternoon, but the problem is her ball placement. 2 errors on the service, another 2 strong hit.
Yep.
These are the things that she can develop because she has the mechanics right here, and she just needs to fine-tune the skill set.
Tip is blocked at the net. Another tip. Joust is won by Indonesia as they continue to rattle off the points here, Martin.
Quicker off the floor, Indonesia has been not that splendid, but very, very good on the net game. Right there on the just, quicker on the hop, quicker off the bounce, and getting a stop. Another point for them, 23-16.
On the service outside, but if you're Indonesia, they can afford some errors here. They've got a very comfortable 6-point lead.
But definitely their coach is not happy with the way that they have been serving. They had a lot of service errors in this second set, and they have been giving opportunities to Vietnam to come back.
Good block at the net, single lady block. That hit too high, too strong, and Vietnam will score.
And as we observe, a lot of the hits, it shows the youth, it shows the inexperience. Because if you are looking at more veteran players, they won't go right away after the set. They would find the apex of the ball and then jump to get over the ball so the angle would be downward. Right there, you can observe a lot of the hits coming from hits from the lower part of the volleyball. That's why it goes looping. Ang tawag sa larong labas, happy birthday shot.
I think there's a challenge here. And again, a new introduction to our coverage is a chance for teams to challenge calls made by the first and second referee. And again, 2 consecutive incorrect challenges will prevent a team from challenging in the set. So you've got to make do, or you know, you got to make sure that your challenges are accurate so that you don't lose your opportunity to challenge per set. They didn't indicate a number of challenges per set, but you must not exceed 2 incorrect challenges. And
so that was
point.
an unsuccessful challenge.
18-23.
Hangestri, what a dig there. Joust won by Indonesia at the net. And a solid single lady blocked by Nguyen.
And that was definitely Roof. Great focus on that block, roofing it enough, putting the hands right where it's legal, not hitting the net, and getting a point for Vietnam.
All right, back to the game here. 23-19 in favor of Indonesia, and they're up 1-0. Their biggest lead was 7 points in set number 2, but it's now down to just 4.
And they have been nailed here at 23 points. A couple of possessions that they had an opportunity to really get to that set point, but Vietnam still has enough left in the tank to fight back. And another point for them, courtesy of an ace.
Vietnam coming back and coming alive here in set number 2. After being down by 7, they are within 3. Good serving so far for Thi Trinh Hoang. Another sharp serve. Good receive. Dang is blocked at the net.
Again, the defense fabricating points. They can't control the backside. They have been not able to control that first ball, but they have been controlling the net game, the interior game.
That's right.
It's right there. 2, 3, sometimes a single block does the dirty work for Indonesia.
They've been very good defensively, especially at the net here in set number 2, Indonesia. 4 set points for the ladies in blue. Dang gets above the blockers. What an attack there by Hangestri, but better defense by Indonesia. But miscommunication by Vietnam, and they lose the point, not being able to attack. Miscommunication there for Vietnam cost them set number 2. They had a good dig. There was an attempt to set, but the third ball, they did not communicate as to who was going to get it.
Exactly. No reception, no service, offline on the calls. Right there, Vietnam having trouble. Now they're down 2-0.
our coverage of day number 2 of the second leg of the ASEAN Grand Prix right here at the Santa Rosa Sports Complex. Eric Tipan with Martin Antonio. And in just our first game today, right now, Indonesia leading Vietnam 2-0. And what do the Indonesians have to do to finish this off? And in the same token, what does Vietnam need to do to extend this?
Well, right now, Indonesia has been controlling that interior. The net defense is really, really good for them. 4-1 on the kill blocks. They have an advantage, and they have been serving really well. 5-1 on that second set with aces. That's 5 aces for you. But on the flip side, the errors of Vietnam still killing them on offense. 6 unforced errors, gifting points to the other team. That's a no-no if you're their coach. You want them to really find their groove right now. It's now or never for them.
What a quick attack there for Lu. And Vietnam starts off on the right note here in set number 3, Martin.
Rinse and repeat. Lu has been open the whole time. If they had an opportunity to bring it to her every doggone time, might as well go to the well.
1-0 Vietnam, set number 3. Must-win situation for the Vietnamese. But number 12, that's Arcela Nuari with the point for Indonesia.
And how about the versatility of this Indonesian team? They have a few players who can double as spikers and setters, so the offense does not flow through one setter alone.
Off-speed attack for Vietnam. Hangestri with an off-speed hit, yes.
And if you go to weekend warrior games, the tita shots, off-speed hits, yun talaga yung laro dito sa atin eh.
Yep.
If you look at the recreational leagues, a few and far in between you see hard hitters, but most of the time it's off-speed hits, it's ball placements, and definitely Tita Mozi would agree on that.
Tita Mozi, ah. Call, I'll tell
Ate Mozi pa ganyan. Tita Mozi. Eh, we're part eh. Ikaw, tito ka na din. I'm a legit tito.
Excuse me, Martin.
I embraced it.
Excuse me.
You know why? You get cranky when they get bad calls on you.
Lu with the attack again, but that's kept alive by Indonesia, and they get the kill. That is Wilda City.
And how about the extension on that they hit? Getting a quick set, something different for the offense of Indonesia. Perfect ball placement right there, right on the money for the setter of Indonesia.
And right away, Martin, 4-1 lead for the ladies in blue here. Set number 3. Tong with the up. An off speed there for number 7, Huang. And double contact against Indonesia. Lu serving. And she's been playing very good volleyball since set number 2, Martin, this tall lady. Ti Hue Lu.
She has been the only bright spot on offense on that second set. Every time that quick ball is right there, she tends to get points in a hurry for her squad.
Meantime, Hangestri will score and will get to serve now. Megawali Hangestri has not been as aggressive as she was in the first set in set number 2, and there's a service error on her part here in the third set. But she is one of those anchors of Indonesia. We mentioned her, 12 points, the only player in double digits for Indonesia in that loss versus Thailand. And her presence on the floor, obviously a big deal in terms of the way the offense is run for Indonesia. Service ace on the flip side for Vietnam as they cut this, what was once a 4-point deficit, to just 1.
And it has been a game of runs.
Yeah.
Helped by unforced errors from both
teams,
squads.
Yeah. Solid cross court there from Nuari.
A good hit. And once they get that first ball, I mean, for the large part of this afternoon, both teams, whenever they get that first ball right, they can easily go into their flow
Yeah.
when it comes to their hits, when it comes to the offense. But the funny thing is, they have been not able, both squads, to control that. But on that sequence, the Vietnam was able to control that first ball and getting a running hit here.
Meantime, maybe you guys noticed, maybe you didn't, but let me tell you, Vietnam changing their setter in set number 3. Instead of Tu Nguyen, they have Thi Lam Wan Do-wan, number 19, playing setter.
And they also shuffled their libero.
That's right. But that time around, off time was the jump of number 15, Nguyen, T3 Nguyen. Serving, Wilda City Nufradila. There's Wulandri again attacking for Indonesia. There's a back row. Good dig for the Indonesians. Free ball for Vietnam. Block. But that time around, Hangestri unable to backpedal.
Exactly. That was a perfect word for it. Backpedaling. They were trying to cover the off-speed hit, coming from the back row, getting a good hit, cross court down and that was across the court, going down the line on the opposite side of the floor. That's a very difficult hit. And if you're talking about angles, that's a difficult angle, and the trajectory of that volleyball should be very, very precise.
1 point game. Chance to tie for Vietnam. A push by Hangestri.
Rinse and repeat. Go for off-speed, go for the smart plays. It might not look pretty, but it gets the job done.
And speaking of the job is to get them to our first technical timeout. Indonesia up by 2, 8-6 over Vietnam. (8-6) Indonesia kontra sa Vietnam, set number 3. Vietnam down 2-0. It was close in the first set, and Indonesia took it, but after a little bit of overtime, 29-27. But in the second set, Indonesia practically controlled it from the second half of the second set all the way till the end.
Giving credit to your trademark, long sets.
But in the meantime, a good tip there by Vietnam as they cut the lead to 1.
And even though that they are down 2-0 on this ball game, Vietnam has been there. They have been in striking distance throughout this ball game, and they even led by 4 points in the first set, but they kept on making unforced errors. Let's see if they can find a way to fine-tune this one.
Hangestri, cross court, yes! Like what we mentioned earlier, she's been the anchor of this Indonesian offense.
Went for off-speed a while back on a point. Now, going for a power hit across defenders and getting a point.
And Ratri Wulandri, the second leading scorer of Indonesia yesterday, and I'm pretty sure today as well. That point is just on the line for number 17. That's Lin Tran.
If you observe the defense of Indonesia, they are moving closer to the net, trying to prevent that quick hit. And now what Vietnam has been doing, attacking the backside of that defense, going down the line in continuous occasions.
Well, speaking of going to the back, Wulandri, Agustin Wulandri will score for Indonesia, finding that zone 1 and scoring 2-point lead for Indonesia.
And that's the sweet spots whenever the defense is scrambling. Zone number 1, zone number 6, and zone number 2. Those are the 3 spots that you want to get. But zone number 1 is the most open and the easiest, in my humble opinion. Easier said than done, Kuya Eric. Easier said than done. Because most of the time, the libero covers that one.
That's right.
And that's the specialty of the house. Covering it from sideline to sideline.
Meantime, a positional error on the part of Indonesia gives Vietnam a free point, and it's a 1-point game here. Combination play, solid single lady block by number 7, Thi Trinh Huang with the kill block.
Perfectly read single coverage right there. Not biting on the fake for that combination and blocking it, getting a kill block and tying our game.
Lu with the serve for Vietnam. Here's Hangestri right on the chest of Lu, but it's still alive. Doan sends it over. And Hangestri with the tip. It's still alive. Wulandri. Easy over for Indonesia. Doan sets it up. They get it back to Hangestri. Too close to the net. And there's a net violation on Hangestri. And Vietnam will take the lead, Martin.
That's definitely a clear call right there on the launch pad after she jumped. She would definitely hit it because she wanted to go for the power tip, but the space was too tight for her, and that wasn't even able to cross the net. So either or, that's a violation for them.
Good save there by Lu. Ball is still alive. On offense again, that's number 12 for Indonesia. Nwari will score.
Going for some power right there on the combination. And number 12 taking care of business. Again, going to zone number 2.
And she's a pretty tall lady, 5'9". Arcela Nwari scored 7 points for Indonesia yesterday in that loss to Thailand.
And one of the snappier movers of
actually,
her squad.
True. She and Ratri Wulandri.
A little bit of the power players of this squad.
Right. Meantime, serving is Tiara Amalia. A dig by Amalia. Doan sets it up and getting it through the block. And number 15, Thi Trinh Nguyen.
A little indecisive, this defense. Not being able to communicate again because it goes high-low. When it goes low, somebody needs to plug in high. That's why you don't leave the middle open. You got to take care of business right there. If the libero goes high, somebody needs to cover low. You got to be communicative right there. That's the key on playing defense.
Meantime, Nguyen, starting setter of Vietnam, is back in the game. Serve to Huai Nguyen. Over receive. Attack for Indonesia. Back row attack for Wulandri. Dang into the net.
Not over on that hit. Good rally. But again, their coach, the Indonesian coach, telling them to try to go for the harder hits. They were a little, I mean, the whole game, they were hesitant to hit. Few and far in between have we seen the power hits coming in for Indonesia.
Nguyen, what a dig there for Indonesia. And here's number 11 on the attack. Bulan. And Dang with the point for Vietnam.
And she has been trying the whole afternoon, and she has been successful in a handful of times. And she has been consistent. And eventually, when you keep on trying, the defense will get tired eventually. So you gotta keep at it, keep hitting, and eventually it would break down if not, at least you tried.
Yep. Yep.
But an
13 all.
error
Yep.
again.
Now serving Wilda Manila.
Nguyen sets it up. Dang with a good flick of the wrist right there. Ratri Bulandri, what a good save for Vietnam. In with get the kill. Dang, what a rally here so far in set number 3. Bulandri, cross court. Lin with the up and sets it up. Ball is still alive. Another easy over for Indonesia. Vietnam needs to be aggressive. Nguyen sets it up. Dang with the tip. Kept alive by Bulandri. Oh! Would have said free ball, but two players collide. Nobody getting the up. And Vietnam, it's 14-13.
Miscommunication has been the theme of the game for both teams. And you still can't communicating as loud as you want them to be.
True.
A little bit tight for both squads because right now on this venue, both visiting teams, you would be able to hear their audibles. But for both squads, the hits are louder. And right there, Vietnam defending that net. Double coverage on the window. Good defense, getting a kill block.
And Vietnam up by 2. Like what we mentioned, their backs are against the wall. They need to get back here in this third set or it's all over. And right roll. Back row attack. Single lady blocked by Lu. Wulandri cross court again. This time Wulandri connects.
Good hit right there by Ratri. Getting a good set going for that cross court power hit. And whenever she hits that volleyball, it's only power.
Yeah.
No variations.
And
Just hit it hard.
I'm impressed with Ratri's stamina, Martin. I mean, she hasn't had a rest
Yeah.
since the beginning.
And the volume of work that she
That's
has
true.
been getting.
1 point game. Good serve for Mutiara. Mutiara will set it up. And again, we're talking about her and she responds immediately. Ratri Bulandri again with a point.
Gladly obliges with another power hit, another coming off a vertical jump.
She said, "You talking about me?"
And she means business.
Yep. So Mutiara serving again. Game is tied at 15. Chance to take the lead, Indonesia. Nguyen. And sets it up. There's Dang. Dang will put Indonesia back on top. And take us to our second technical timeout. 16-15. Vietnam over Indonesia, set number 3.
Substitutions for Vietnam.
Vietnam looking good. Let me just put it that way. They're up by 1.
Exactly.
Eric Tipan, Martin Antonio. Game number 1 of the Saturday doubleheader. Indonesia, Vietnam. Indonesia up 2 sets, but Vietnam up by 1 here, and they're playing very well. They're hustling here in set number 3. That's why they have the lead. And the hustle again. Martin now gives him a 2-point lead.
Not even a power shot.
Yep.
Planted off-speed hit. Something that you would get used to seeing when you watch your mom play volleyball on the weekends. But right there, just enough. Vietnam doing just enough to get a point. And it doesn't matter if you hit it with your head or your elbow, as long as you get the points,
That's
it
right.
counts on the scoreboard.
Second setter Duan is in the game, serving for Vietnam. Mutiara. Wulandri. Whenever Indonesia needs a point, you know where to go to. That's, sorry, I'm stand corrected. That's a Hangestri with a point for Indonesia.
And they love going to that left
Yeah.
side. And usually, if you're right-handed, even if you play that opposite spiker position, that is your power side. You could get on the approach with your left leg first and then go vertical on the 1-2. That's a better look for you. But right here, that's not a good look for Ratri. Another service error. Gigel.
Oh, what's that? 3 service errors for Ratri Wulandri here in set number 3. And Vietnam back up by 2, 18-16. Substitution here as Ratri Wulandri will finally get a rest. And number 18 for Indonesia, that is Andriati or Novia Andrianti is in the game. Serving, Lin Tran of Vietnam. That's outside for number 12, Arcela Nuari. The lead now at 3 for Vietnam, slowly creating some cushion, some separation in this very important set number 3 if you're Vietnam.
And the times that they led were few and far in between. We could go back, way back to the first set
That's
when they
right.
led 8-4, and then Indonesia didn't look back, but now they equal their highest lead of the ball game at 4 points.
Hangestri getting blocked at the net. The set was a little too close, and head coach Octavian of Indonesia calls a timeout. They are down by 4 now. Very crucial moment for Indonesia. They need to turn things around here and now. Cannot afford to be later because Vietnam is on a roll and they have a 4-point lead here. They only need 5 to win and extend this first match.
And they need to really pick it up on defense because Vietnam has been doing it on both sides of the Taraflex. They've been defending well. That's why they were able to fabricate points. And they're opportunistic when it comes to scoring. They always, in this third set, they have been catching the defense of Indonesia, scrambling, and that's what you want. In volleyball, once the defense scrambles, that's when you get your points.
20 serving 16. Agustin Wulandri serving 17-20. 3 points they need to catch if they want to win this. What a solid single lady block by Arcela Nuari.
And you can count 1 out of those 3 right there on the single coverage. Good timing. And coming from that backside hit, that's very difficult. The momentum that you need. You really need to put a lot of power on that hit to get in.
2 straight points for Indonesia. Good dig. And again, this is Arcela Nuari, so back-to-back points for her. 1 kill block, 1 kill on the attack. And this lead of 4-point lead of Vietnam is down to 1. A timeout here by the ladies in yellow.
Just needed a quick water break to douse off the fire of the Vietnamese, and of course the Indonesians taking care of business right here. Back-to-back good hits, and the defense dictating. Again, that was their strength in the second set, covering the net and just getting into the power hits. But right now they're down by 1 point. They just need to get another hit right here, and we're back to the ballgame time.
They've got momentum here. 3 straight points for them. And that forced the hand of Tuan Kiet Nguyen, the head coach of Vietnam, to call a timeout. Hopefully freeze the server as well. This is Agustin Wulandri serving for Indonesia, looking to tie the game and finish off Vietnam in 3 straight sets. Doan sets it up. Good, solid block at the net by Nufratila. And the game is tied. 4 straight points for Indonesia.
And they
20
heard
all.
you. They heard you. They gave in to your invitation of tying it. 4 straight points coming off the timeout for Indonesia. You have the defense right there taking care of business, and the hits are keep on coming for Indonesia.
Chance to take the lead here. 20 all. Agustin Wulandri serving for Indonesia. Mutiara with a set. And a solid block this time against Nuwari. She's been the go-to girl of Indonesia. And ika nga, nabantayan na ng Vietnam.
Kargado yung palo, pero napatungan. Good defense by Vietnam. The length now getting in play as we get into the further parts of the set. Fatigue setting in. Now the mechanics and the fundamentals and also the size of our players.
What a quick there for Nufratila as she puts Indonesia back square with Vietnam at 21 all.
Been quiet the whole game.
Yeah.
And then coming up big here, tying our ball game at 21.
Dewan sets it up. Cross court, kept alive by Hangestri, and Indonesia with a point there, and they're back on top. Sorry, Vietnam will get the point. They're back on top, 22-21.
Despite the trouble of receptions from both squads and the digging, they have been having problems. Net defense of these teams have been on point, especially on this set.
But unfortunately, the serve is not.
And to quote the great philosopher DJ Khaled, another one. Another error here from Vietnam, and both teams have been had forgettable performances here from the service area. Despite Indonesia having 5 aces in the second set, their errors were more than 5.
Dewan sets it up. Quick running attack there for number 15, Nguyen. Dewan. What a cross court, but what a dig for Indonesia. Ratri Wulandri with the attack. Push for Vietnam. Wulandri goes up, and that's outside.
And hitting that volleyball underneath the ball. That's why it went higher than usual. She wanted to go for the power hit. It sails outside.
And Vietnam back on top, 23-22.
Just basic physics. You try to hit it from the bottom, it would go up. So you want to get those kill hits right above that volleyball. But right there, 2 ladies collaborating, defending, and closing the window on Ratri.
That's Titrin Nguyen blocking Ratri Wulandri. Set point Vietnam. And Indonesia calls their final timeout, down by 2. Must play perfect volleyball now if you're Indonesia. Extending this set obviously will put them in a bad situation. Vietnam starting to heat up. It may have taken a while, but they're already at that level where they're playing at par with Indonesia.
Might be a 3.0 carburetor diesel engine right there. Something up your avenue, my friend. Takes time, but once it gets moving,
right,
it's very difficult to stop, especially on a long drive like this.
That's what Indonesia is finding out right now.
And Vietnam has the answers, but it's their unforced errors that keeps them away from getting a set here.
Oh, but what an answer there for Nufratila as she cuts that 2-set point lead of Vietnam to 1. And Vietnam will call a timeout and try to finish off Indonesia with a good play here. Smart decision.
Exactly.
By Tuan Nguyen, the head coach there, talking to his ladies, because they need to get a good stop here. Get a stop, get an attack, and finish off Indonesia. Keep their hopes alive here in this match.
And to get that stop, you need to receive that volleyball properly. You need to communicate and cover the space that they want to get it into. Right now, number 17 for Indonesia, serving here. And look at this defense, 4 ladies on the back line.
It's imperative they get a good receive here and set up a good play for a good finish. Vietnam up by 1 set point. There's the attack and there's the finish. Vietnam, they stay alive here in set number 3.
We go back to playing good defense. First ball was perfect. Set was even better.
That's
And
right.
taking care of the business. Their offense with a running hit, cut shot going to the left side of the defense of Indonesia. Taking 1 set in for Vietnam.
Continues here at set number 4.
So Vietnam bouncing back in set number 3. It didn't look like they were gonna at the beginning of the 3rd set, Martin, but somehow they started to get control late in the 3rd set, and they never allowed Indonesia to come back.
Exactly. Might be the tunes that the DJ is playing right here. Getting into the flow. We miss DJ Jam
You
right now.
You were singing. You were
Exactly.
singing
I
the
was
Sean-
dancing.
what's that?
I was
what's that,
doing
Sean-
Sean Kingston. But going back to the ball game, it's Vietnam just doing enough.
Yeah.
As long as you're there, right in striking distance right now. Indonesia had more attacks in that set, but kill blocks is what that gave that win 6-2 for Vietnam. And errors, again, the problem of this Vietnamese squad, but they made up for it on defense, and we shall see if they can get this 4th set.
And they really shut down. Those skill blocks were against Ratri Wulandri and Hangestri, the 2 key players of Indonesia. There's a check ball as Ratri Wulandri starts things off on the right play for Indonesia.
And not only are kill blocks getting you points, it also intimidates the hitter. So once they get to their launch pads, take those hits, they would be more adamant on putting more power. And if you don't get to hit it, it goes outside. That gives you another point on your scorecards.
There's an attack by number 17. That is Lin Tran, who puts Vietnam on the board. 1-all, set number 4.
A very good matchup right here this afternoon. Good rallies. Not long rallies, but both teams picking it up on defense.
To play, unavoidable for Mutiara. There's overreach on the part of Indonesia. And we're right here at the Santa Rosa Sports Complex for day number 2 of the second leg of the ASEAN Grand Prix. You're watching Vietnam versus Indonesia. Indonesia had a 2-0 lead, but Vietnam coming alive in the third set. But that time around, there's Hangestri with the point.
And both teams fighting tooth and nail. Not long rallies, good rallies, but whenever one team gets some momentum, the other would have an answer.
And that's what's good about Vietnam. I mean, they did not have answers to Wulandri, Hangestri in the first 2 sets, but in the third set, you know, they came alive. A lot of people contributing.
Exactly.
Nguyen, Dang, they were scoring points. Tran also coming alive, attacking for Vietnam in the third set.
And if you're down 2-0, you still stick to your game plan, that says something about the coaching, and that says something about the players, that they believe that it would work eventually. And that's what happened. They kept on attacking on the quick, controlled the net defense, and protected that line. Yeah, a lot of points of this Indonesian squad came from down the line hits, and they adjusted, and that's why they got that third set.
Service ace gives Indonesia a 2-point lead here. 4-2, set number 4. There's Lu. Nuwari. Dewan sets it up. And a solid block by Indonesia at the net. They got a hand on that. What a save there by number 17, Nufradila of Indonesia. Dewan sets it up. That's outside for Huang.
Too hard on the hit, trying to go cross court. One of the hardest hits that you could get a point from.
Yeah.
Trying all alone for a cross court hit, because usually you want to go cross court or cut shot when there are at least 2 ladies or a single block in front of you. You want to get a hit as hard as you can, so it goes across the floor.
Dewan sets it up. Lu gets it through, but there was a block at the net by Nuwari. And that time around, number 11, that's Lee, Thi Hong Lee of Vietnam scoring.
Every time they get into those quick sets, quick opportunities to fabricate points, they're very proficient at that. But when they go for the power hits, that's when turnovers pile up for Vietnam.
Well, that's so far so good here. I mean, they haven't had that many errors. Just early in set number 4. They can keep it together. Dewan sets it up. Nuwari, yes!
Again, going to that left side, the usual strong side of right-handed hitters. Getting into that 1-2 step, you can't stress it enough, because if you watch the biomechanics of volleyball players, right-handed hitters, once they plant that left foot, they would have so much more power than usual, because that's how they train, and that's where they are most efficient at.
Block at the net by Nufradila. Another block, this time by Nuwari. Solid defense by Indonesia at the net. Nufradila, a free ball for Vietnam. Dewan will set it up, and a quick in the middle for Thi Trinh Nguyen.
Rinse and repeat. Vietnam should trademark that for this afternoon. That middle quick is open, right up there for the taking each and every time that they run it to perfection.
And Trinh Huang serving for Vietnam. Running attack is rejected by Le. Thi Hong Le.
Close until further notice on that running hit. Good coverage. And just like that, Vietnam finding their groove. Finally, now we see them playing in rhythm, because they haven't been in rhythm the first 2.
What a set there, and a kill by Nuwari makes it a 2-point lead for Indonesia.
A good hit right there.
And you gotta give half of that point to Mutiara. Mutiara, what an excellent set that time. She was close to the net, but she controlled her body and was able to get the ball to that sweet spot of Nuwari for the kill. Duan. What a dig this time by Indiani of Indonesia. Back row. And the cross court is too long for Trin Huang as Indonesia builds a 3-point advantage. 8-5 in set number 4. Eight serving 5. Indonesia lead.
Able to slightly pop it up, giving them a free ball, but the second one, no go. She would definitely take care of business.
Service ace for Indonesia as they start to build what was once a modest lead. It's up to 4 now.
And it's still surprising to me how players, when the ball approaches them on a serve, will try to pop it up overhead with an open palm. It's like a set, but I was asking a few friends of mine who are volleyball players. They said it's an easier way of popping it up, but for me, as a recreational volleyball,
It looks hard.
It's harder than I can only imagine. I do not try it most of the time, so if it goes over my head, I would just let it go out.
There's a wet spot on the floor. Indonesia wants it wiped down for safety, of course.
Some of the busiest people on volleyball competitions are the guys who wipe the floor.
7 serving 10, set number 4. Mutiara goes back row, and that's in for number 3, Hangestri.
Right there, on the back line. Anticipating the off-speed hits because the past few hits, 1 power shot and 1 off-speed were the points of Indonesia. So it's a continuous guessing game for both squads. That's why scouting really plays a big part on big competitions. You gotta learn how teams want to distribute their attacks and their habits.
Timeout here by Coach Nguyen of Vietnam. His team down by 5. Let's see the adjustments that are going to be made by Vietnam here. Indonesia has rattled off 3 straight points to build a 5-point lead here, 12-7. And still a must-win set if you're Vietnam because they're down 2-1. Good receive, Dewan. Nice setup for Lu, but a good dig by Indonesia. Free ball again for Vietnam. Dewan, where will she go? Back to Lu. And still another up for Indonesia's libero. And that is a check ball, definitely. Indonesia with another point.
And they're starting to pour it on here in the 4th set. The moment that they got the momentum, the moment that they were able to get a hard hit on that launch pad, and they're not relinquishing this lead.
And credit to Indayani, the libero of Indonesia, #1. She's been excellent, nothing short of excellent on the defensive end. There's a service ace. That's going to be 5 straight points for Indonesia, and it's a 14-7 lead in set #4.
And trying to run away with this ball game. Doubling the production here in the 4th set of Vietnam. And they are on deck to serve.
Better reception. Dewan back to Lu. And the defense not ready that time. Substitution for Vietnam as Dewan will come out and Nguyen will check back in to Huai Nguyen, the starting setter. Six-point game. Too close to the net. Easy block against Hangestri by Vietnam. So 2 straight points. A quick, short answer from Vietnam here, Martin.
We're not yet done here. This is far from being over. 14-9 back-to-back points, as we said, for Vietnam. And they have the tools here to make a comeback. They just need to get stops on the defensive side.
Mutiaras sends it to Hangestri. There's a net violation on Vietnam as their 2-point run ends. And Indonesia back on the board and back on top by 6. 15-9 set #4. Ratri Wulandri by Nuari.
Presence, presence, and more presence for Indonesia. Again, misreception turns into points, and Indonesia taking care of business, being able and keen to get points in a hurry right here after back-to-back points by Vietnam.
Indonesia with their biggest lead here at 7 points, 16-9. And they look in control here. Martin, after losing set #3, they have come back and they're showing us they've got a purpose here. And they mean to do it in the 4th set.
Oh, definitely. They came back stronger here in the 4th set. And that purpose is to take care of business and not drop down to 0-2.
That's right. And meantime, Hangestri with a point as she was relatively quiet in the 3rd set, but is now coming alive in the all-important 4th set. And they are up by 8 here, 17-9 Indonesia is. And they're up 2-1, a chance to close it out here for the ladies in blue. Ratri Wulandri with a stronger serve, Wulandri with an ace. And now the lead is 9 for Indonesia.
And she has been looking for that the whole afternoon. A bunch of errors, but that absolves it. Now getting to their highest lead of the ball game at 9 points.
And that's only going to get stronger. The bigger your lead is, the more chances you take from the service area.
And your confidence is at an all-time high.
underhand set. Oh, that tip, that ball didn't even reach the fingertips of Trin Huang. So the points continue to pour on, and unless there's a miracle here, this 10-point lead will be difficult to overturn if you're Vietnam. They call another timeout, and I sincerely hope we could listen in, but unfortunately we cannot. What do you think Coach Nguyen is telling the girls of Vietnam?
Well, at the end of the day, you just need to pick up your performance, control that first ball. They have been having trouble on the reception. Again, we can't stress it enough. You receive it properly, good things will come. They gave up a lot of aces in the second set, which they lost. And right now, the services of Indonesia, when they are at the service area, is on point in the fourth set. So the moment that you find a way to stop that, then you can fabricate points on your own.
Ratri Wulandri has been serving in
So
spectacular
that's
fashion.
an ace, right?
Yeah.
Because or an unforced error. That point would be credited to her.
Of course. Wulandri again, look for another strong serve, jump serve right there. And finally, that run is stopped by point of Lin Tran of Vietnam. But the damage has been done, Martin.
Exactly. But off a timeout, that's what you want to see. Somebody responding and somebody getting a point for Vietnam. This is 9 points. Not yet done. You have an opportunity to claw your way back, and you got to grind it out and toughen it out.
That's a perfect word. Claw back, because there's no ifs and buts about it. It's not going to be easy. Down by 9. But that could be a good start. Yes, that's a start. 2-point run for Vietnam here off a service ace.
And back-to-back points here.
Vietnam here off a service ace.
And back-to-back points here.